On September the 11th in 2001, a group of Muslim extremists known as Al-Qaeda orchestrated 3 attacks in America by hijacking and ultimately crashing planes into notable areas of America's security and economy, such as the Pentagon and the World Trade Center.
In the carnage, they call themselves the Revolution Muslim.
The result of these attacks was mass hysteria on a worldwide scale, with almost every mainstream news outlet reporting on the attack. Following the attacks and the media's response was a surge in popularity of the current president at the time, George W. Bush, whose approval rating soared from 51% to 90% after giving a speech on the matter. After 9/11, there was an evident change in the general public's perception of the Muslim faith. This documentary will explore this change in collaboration with the rise of media coverage of the Muslim faith.
They just say a man did this and that.
And how the media affects the public. My name is Thomas Munoz, and for the past 18 months I've been working in Tava, a restaurant in Holt. The restaurant is owned by the Chowdhury family, who are a large part of the Wrexham Muslim community. And over the past year I have made friends, taken part in several of their practices, and also been able to talk with my colleagues about the religion in general. A large number of the general public potentially aren't aware of how past terrorist attacks have potentially affected the Muslim representation in the media and affected their community. I thought the best way to start this documentary is to ask the general public of Wrexham on what they knew and what they thought about the Muslim faith and their representations. Their responses varied from positive to negative.
Muslims are not represented well in the media. Because obviously the bombings and ISIS, they relate. A lot of people think all Muslims are related to that, but there are some decent people out there, decent Muslims, and I believe they have the right to be here. But obviously the ones that are causing crime should be sent back.
So do you feel like the Muslim faith is very represented in the media?
So, in the media, do you think Muslims are well represented?
Well, personally, I don't think they are, because whenever a crime is committed, by a Muslim, their religion is always brought into it.
Yeah, they're pointed to first, aren't they? Especially if it's like an international crime. Whereas, say if a Muslim does something good, it's not recognisable in the news.
Yeah,
it's not covered in the news.
The religion isn't. It's always the religion that the media will go and focus on.
They won't focus on
when it's negative. Yeah, it's always a religion.
Let's just say, I know it's a bit more stereotypical, but let's just say a terrorist attack. They'll point at Muslims straight away. They won't point at mental health or their motives. They'll just point straight to Muslim.
So, do you think the media representation in the UK is just for the Muslim faith?
No. In a nutshell, I think it's portrayed in a very negative way, and I think it's focusing everything on extremists and nothing on Muslims. So it doesn't matter what faith it is, the fact that they go for an extremist attack, it could be Jews, Muslims, Christians, it could be anybody. Unfortunately, it's Muslims for other reasons, and I think that's why the media are coming down quite hard on Muslims, because it's flavour of the month, if you like. It's linked in with all the politics and the bureaucracy to do with America. So no, that's my final answer on that.
Okay. Do you feel that the media, in order to remain neutral, should run more stories on positive aspects of Muslims within the UK, so they're able to show a division between these extremists and the normal everyday Muslim?
Yeah, I think it would be in everyone's benefit to show a lot more positive representations of Muslims, as in traditional Muslims that go about their life in a compassionate and caring way, as Christians in a traditional sense, as Catholics in a traditional sense. Unfortunately, as we know, bad news sells, so anything positive tends to get swept under the carpet, and then we'll get a negative representation. I think if audiences look at other things than American cinema, they'll probably get much more of a positive portrayal of Muslims in various other films and media. But again, it's a big, big picture.
After talking to the general population, I visited the Wrexham Islamic Cultural Centre, which is the local mosque, for a tour around. I was also given permission to observe and attend a service.
In each palace of those
kings, this meal enough for 10,000 poor people. But they eat from it a little bit and they throw the rest. They say, can we take it to donation?
While I was there, I spoke with the Imam about current affairs and the representations of Muslims in the media.
Do you feel that the Muslim faith is unfairly shown in the media, and do you feel it affects Muslims' lives in the UK?
Absolutely, yes, 100%. Not 99, 100%. Yes, if you see all the media now, they talk about Islam and terrorists. And I give you just some examples. Now, if you see the newspapers, if any explosion happened in America, in UK, in France, in Germany, the first thing, if the guy is a Muslim, they say is a Muslim terrorist. And then if he's not a Muslim, they say he's a mental ill. You've got problem issues like the latest one in America or the previous one. But if he's a Muslim, they say a Muslim boy or a Muslim girl or a Muslim man. If not a Muslim, they just say a man did this and that. And this is actually is not. I'm not happy, and not all Muslims are not happy about how they represent Islam. While, if you heard in the speech here, if you see most of the hospitals full of doctors, schools, Muslim doctors, schools, Muslim teachers, takeaways, Muslims. If they are terrorists, they could do anything to the customers, to the patients, to the students. But you can see, and you stayed with us here for an hour, you can see and you've heard.
The vast minority of it. And like, it's like in the 90s when people didn't call the IRA Christian terrorists.
Yes.
They just called them extremists.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Instead, but when it's a Muslim faith which isn't domestically from the UK, people think the worst because they don't understand it.
Absolutely, they don't understand Islam, and they even when they brought, for example, BBC, they used to bring a very radical, mental representative of Islam, imams in Finsbury Park, for example. He's representative of far right of Muslims. They say this is the right Islam, and they don't show even the proper Muslims or the proper imams or the proper speakers to represent the Islam, the proper way of Quran.
After talking with the Imam, I went to Coleg Cambria, the local college, to meet Jasmine, a media tutor who is part of the Muslim faith. As a member of the Muslim community and a practitioner within the media industry, Jasmine could give me an accurate perspective on the media's influence.
I just don't want people to feel like every Muslim is a terrorist, or to feel scared when they hear the word Muslim or Islam or anything like that, because if you actually get to know most people, we're just like nice, law-abiding citizens who wake up every day and do the same things as everybody else. And it's really important to remember that we all have more similarities than differences, and if you just get to know somebody, you'll realise that it's not Islam or Muslims that are bad, it's just individual people that are cruel.
Yeah. I'd say the same thing. Religion is just an aspect of somebody. It's not the entire thing.
It's not the entirety.
Yeah, you don't. You need empathy in order to see the entire person, and people should judge people on how they are to you, not what their religion's done, what they've done.
And if you educate yourself, if you actually ask questions, you'll know. Because a lot of people are scared. A lot of people are scared because they don't ask the questions. Instead, they become ignorant to the whole situation. But that's why I was really happy to do this interview, because I want people to know that, you know, we're not bad people, and it's not fair to just categorise us and label us under one bracket, because that's not what Islam is. Islam is a beautiful religion, and it's accepting towards everything and everyone.
During the making of this documentary, I was able to come to informed conclusions. The media continues to report on far more negative stories. This is most likely done for entertainment purposes, as the media knows that everybody will tune into the news, especially when a tragedy has happened. People rely on the news as a source of current information, and it is within the possibility that the media has manipulated this necessity in order to portray the entire Muslim faith in a negative light. However, as of recent, media has become to repair some of the damage that has been done after the years of negative press. This has been done through reports on the good and charitable work done by the Muslim community, such as the march onto Manchester Arena after the Manchester attack. This shows hope for an accurate representation of the Muslim faith in the future, with more and more people becoming educated on the religion and its people. There are many aspects of the Muslim faith and community, as many other religions have. The vast majority of its followers do so much good for the religion and the world as a whole.
It's a smile, it's something genuine. It really it creates an ambience that is indescribable.
The Quran states, "Whoever kills a soul, it shall be as if he killed all mankind. And if he saves life, it shall be if he saved all mankind."